Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on the official news that the finale for The Walking Dead Season 7 is going to be extended. It's going to be an 85-minute episode. Yeah. And spoiler warning, if you're not caught up for The Walking Dead, that's up to The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 13, Bury Me Here, which, well, it's going to air this Sunday. So this one's good news. This one came from Andy G, who says, Trev, the Season 7 finale is going to be an 85-minute long extended episode. So really excited for that. That's like an hour and a half long, so that's basically an extra half to the finale, which gives us, I'd have to look up each episode and how many episodes were extended, but it puts us somewhere around the range of probably about 18 episodes for this season when you factor in the extended time for each episode. 16 episodes, but because of the extensions, more like 17 or 18, which is really cool. We also got the title for the episode. It's The First Day of the Rest of Your Life. And we got a synopsis too. I'll put the link in the description to comicbook.com, so you guys go ahead and check it out and write your comments below, of course, on what you think. So first off, very happy they're extending the finale. It's really good because, this season, like we've gone through the season and it feels like they haven't covered as much of the comics as I usually want them to. It feels like they've been kind of holding back. They've added in a lot of stuff, the Junkyard Group, the Ocean Side, and that's okay. It's good to see them add stuff in. I like some of it. I'm like, it's okay. But it's great to see that they're going to give us a little bit more in the finale so we can look forward to a really good finale episode. Because I'm expecting this to be a really good finale since this season has been it's not my favorite season ever. Let's just put it that way. So the title, The First Day of the Rest of Your Life, which is pretty cool because if you look at the Season 7 premiere, it's the day will come when you won't be. So then the Season 7 finale will be the first day of the rest of your life. So when I hear people say, well, today is the first day of the rest of your life, it's kind of a statement that's used a lot in motivation spaces. They'll say like, well, it kind of, to me, it speaks of change, right? It's like, okay, so you lived your life up to this point, but you're in the present. And the power of the present is that you have the ability to change, no matter what your past is. Today, you have the ability to decide to do something different, right? And that's the magic of being in the present moment. That's the magic of today, is that you can decide to do whatever you want today. You could change your whole life around in one day if you really wanted to. You could, quit your job or go find another job or go back to college or do whatever the hell you want to do, right? So some of you often hear in motivation speaking and talks and things like that. So for this, with regards to our characters in the Season 7 finale, it kind of makes me think of Rick and the others. Maybe something to do with a Rick speech. Sounds like something Rick speechish. Which is pretty cool. So if we see the start to the war, if we see Rick and the others join together in the finale and start to fight back against Negan, that would be really, really cool. So maybe, Rick giving a nice empowering speech to everybody and letting them know that this is, they're fighting for the future, and this is the first day to the rest of your life, regardless of what's happened before and who you are as a person. Today, you're fighting for the good guys, so to speak. So cool stuff. Again, write your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the title. The synopsis for the finale reads, the stakes continue to grow higher as paths cross. The group enacts an intricate plan. So, of course, we know what the plan is going to be. It's going to be to take down Negan and the Saviors, obviously. So, it'll be interesting to see how Sasha and Rosita factor into this because we know they're kind of getting started with their own plan right now. So, in a few episodes' time, by the time we get to episode 16, they will have had a little bit of time, at least 14 and 15, I would think, to do something. So I'm thinking maybe, their little mini group, the two of them, their pair, so to speak, is going to have their own plan, and then the other groups, of course, are going to have their own plan, and, either attack the sanctuary or maybe lie in wait and spring some kind of trap on Negan should he come to visit Alexandria or something. Could be cool. Giving viewers an extra 25 minutes of time with their zombies. Well, 85 minutes, 25, but then you get commercials too, so it's more like maybe 18 or 19 minutes, which is about half an episode when you factor in the intro and all that stuff. So it's like an episode and a half, which is very cool, just like the premiere of the season, that would put us at about 18 episodes in terms of quantity. James Anthony says, hey Trev, Q&A. From a budget standpoint, were you surprised when you learned that the saviors in the show have more numbers than their comic book counterparts? Some people have questioned AMC on the budget they've given in the past, but do you think they'll be going all out for all-out war by having a bigger savior group for the survivors to fight? Thanks, man. Keep up the great work as usual. Well, actually, I think adding on more numbers might actually reduce the budget, because it's not like those people are going to cost too much for the show, and they allow them to really stretch out that storyline. So when you add on groups like the Junkyard group and the Oceanside, and you add all these things in, it may have some cost to it, but you're going to get more episodes, so you don't have to necessarily have, maybe, I'm sure JDM costs quite a bit, and having him all in every episode, and, kind of bottling things off in different groups and different locations, it might actually be cheaper than, having it all focused on a kind of a smaller group, but then having everybody in every episode type of deal. Could cost even more, depending. So it's kind of hard to say, but I think they're going to go all out for all out war, and I think they decided when they were writing this season in season 7, I think they sat down and they realized, we're going pretty fast. We don't want to burn through the comic book content too quickly. Let's take our time. Let's add in some other groups here. There's some things here that could be interesting to see and can make it play out a little bit differently in the TV series version than it did in the comics, and maybe in the end, it can seem like it was an even bigger war than the comic book series version had. It will seem more like a war because you have over 100 people per side fighting, and that does feel like a war, I think, compared to what we've seen before. The governor attacks with a dozen or under 2 dozen people roughly, and you've got the prison group with Rick and the others, which is like a dozen of them or so. And so, this really feels like something of a different scale. This feels like, a war versus just a battle. A lot of those feel like battles. When Rick and the others attack the outpost, that feels like a battle. A war is more like you have all kinds of little battles happening all over the place, and it can be a lot longer, of course, than just one single small battle with a dozen people or two. Raptor Saurus 110 says, "Hey Trev, love the channel and hope you keep up the good work. Do you think that we could be introduced to the Whisperers by seeing one of the group wearing Heath's face and one of the survivors trying to talk to Heath without realizing the Whisperer killed off the character?" Thanks, dude. So I've heard this one before once in a Q&A, and I think it's just a crazy idea. But now we got some more info. So to comment on this one, with the more info that we have now, if Corey Hawkins can't return to Walking Dead, meaning he's got other shows, he cannot come back permanently, and they want to introduce the Whisperers, I think it's probably the best way you could think of to introduce the Whisperers. I mean, that is so dark and that is so scary, and that would be so effective. However, the agoraphobes might be all upset because, too much gore, it's not kid friendly, Teletubbies and the whole bit. So, but that would be brutal, and I think they should definitely do that. That would be amazing if they can't bring him back. If they can bring him back, then just bring him back and you're fine. You can have the introduction from his point of view, and that'd be even better. But if they did that, man, oh my God, that's probably the best way, if they can't bring him back, to handle it, I think. Rusty TV says, "Q&A Trev, do you think season 7 has been a poor season? Personally, I feel it hasn't been the best. Would love to hear your opinion, and thanks." So, yeah, it's a good question, and I don't really like to get negative too much and sound like we're complaining a lot, that kind of deal. I know there's been a lot of that this year, and I've done more videos on that than I usually do, even though sometimes I do some complaining here and there. Because it's we all do, right? But this season, I put this season around season 4 level. If I have to sort, what are the best seasons to me, season 6, season 5 are very impressive, really impressive seasons. Season 2 has really great character dynamics. Season 1 is kind of half season, so it's hard to compare. Season 3 is a pretty action-based, so it's fun. Season 7 is depressing at parts because they want us to be depressed and feel like we're in the character's shoes. Surprising at other parts. The beginning is incredible. The ending, I'm hoping, is going to be incredible. I'd put it somewhere around maybe season 4 in terms of quality, I think. Maybe not at the level of season 5 or 6, but I think season 8 will be at the level of season 5 or 6, and hopefully better, but we're going to have to see how that works out, and should this kind of current direction continue with bottling things up and really slowing things down and dragging them a little bit too long. We'll see. So, but I wouldn't say, okay, so that's compared to Walking Dead. Compared to most shows, this is an amazing season of a show, right? I think The Walking Dead is that high of standards that when you compare it to itself, maybe season 7 is not the best season they've ever had to me. But compared to a lot of other shows, it's incredible compared to a lot of shows, because a lot of shows are just, I don't know, popcorn type thing, and no depth. This season does have depth, I think. As The Walking Dead usually does with the characters. Luke T says there's a higher chance that Morales will show up than they would kill Negan. And you're probably right about that. That's probably true. Zach Anderson says, what if there's another cliffhanger? We don't know if Negan killed Sasha or Rosita. They're not going to do maybe death, maybe not death cliffhanger. If they do, Zach, you can say I told you so, Trev, but I would almost guarantee they're not going to, after all the fan backlash they got last year. So I really highly doubt they would do that. But we may see a cliffhanger with the war starting at the end. Then maybe that's one thing about this season, is that it begins at the end of a story arc, and it probably is going to end at the beginning of another story arc. So it's like this time in between, and that's kind of partially why I think the season has been getting as much flack as it has. Last one will be from Midi Para, who says, as I said before, Season 8 will be the last at this rate. So he thinks that the series is going to get canceled. 10 million views is still plenty enough for them to keep doing Walking Dead. They're keeping their costs probably pretty low, which is good in terms of health for the show, because they don't need to pay that much to get the show done, and it's probably still raking in mad money for AMC. So I wouldn't worry about it too much at this point. If they do something big and then the show's ratings go down and it costs a lot of money, but the ratings are going down, then that could be something to worry about, and the show could get canceled. But I really don't think it is going to. It's got to be profitable. All the Walking Dead products and merch and all the stuff they got for it, I mean, it's just crazy, man. TV show licenses and whatever the hell else, all this stuff AMC gets paid, pretty much no matter what. So Walking Dead lunch boxes and Walking Dead zombie booze and stuff, I'm sure they're doing just fine. I'm sure they're doing fine. That'll be it for today's video, guys. Write your comments below. Let me know what you think about the finale extension and the title and description. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I do appreciate it. Subscribe at the bottom left. Always appreciate it, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow for another video. It's Trev, saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.